Hi dear students, today we will see arterial supply of head and neck region and a small part of blood supply in the abdomen. So let's begin. Arch of aorta is the continuation of ascending aorta, and arch of aorta continue down as the descending thoracic aorta. So you need to know the arch of aorta, which is giving some branches here, and the branches are known from right to left. They are the brachiocephalic artery, left common carotid artery, left subclavian artery. So it is a curved portion of ascending aorta. Now the arch descends posterior to the root of the lung on the left side of the body of T4 vertebra. So now the arch is going to have some relations. Now this is arching over the root of the left lung, and now it is becoming on the left side of body of the T4 vertebra, thoracic 4 vertebra. So this is the root of lung, left lung. So it is arching over it. Now the arch of aorta ends by becoming thoracic aorta posterior to second sternocostal joint. Now after arching, it becomes the descending thoracic aorta, that is at the level of second left sternocostal joint. So somewhere this area, this arch of aorta continuing as the thoracic aorta. What are the branches? I already mentioned brachiocephalic trunk, left common carotid artery, left subclavian artery. Brachiocephalic trunk is the first and largest branch of the arch of aorta, ascends superolaterally to reach right side of the trachea. So it is moving upwards superiorly and lying on the right side of the trachea and the right sternoclavicular joint. So it's also related to the right sternoclavicular joint, that is between the joint between the sternum and the clavicle, where it divides into right common carotid artery and right subclavian artery. So brachiocephalic trunk is dividing into right common carotid artery, right subclavian artery. Now the next branch is left common carotid artery. Left common carotid artery is a direct branch of arch of aorta. It is the second branch of arch of aorta. Ascends anterior to the left subclavian artery, just anterior to the left subclavian artery, and is at first anterior to the trachea. So initially it lies anterior to the trachea and then to its left. Then immediately it goes to the left side of trachea. So this is left common carotid artery. The last branch here is left subclavian artery. It is the third branch, ascends lateral to the trachea. So it is lying laterally on the left side of the trachea and the left common carotid artery. It is also related to the left side of left common carotid artery through the superior mediastinum. Now it is a part of superior mediastinum, because arch of aorta is also a part of the superior mediastinum. So all these branches are a part of superior mediastinum, but immediately it leaves the thorax. Now the subclavian artery, the left subclavian artery, arches over the apex of lung posterior to the first costal cartilage. So left lung, and this is the rib, and forms the it has the costal cartilage at this end, anterior end. So behind that, it arches over the first rib and also the apex of the lung, the apex of the lung. So it is arching over it and going to the upper lip. Now the subclavian arteries are a pair of large arteries in the thorax that supply blood to the thorax itself, head, neck, shoulder and arms. So subclavian artery, it gives some branches in the thoracic region, in the head and neck region, and that leads or that goes to the upper limb to supply the upper limb. Both the subclavian arteries, right and left subclavian arteries. But here one difference is right is a branch of brachiocephalic trunk, left is a direct branch of arch of aorta. So this is the right subclavian artery arching over the first rib, left subclavian artery arching over the first rib of the left side. Now talking about the carotid arteries, right and left common carotid arteries that supply the head and neck with oxygenated blood. So they are going to supply the head and neck region. They divide in the neck to form external and internal carotid arteries. So common carotid artery, both side they divide. Here this is right common carotid artery dividing into external carotid artery and internal carotid artery. Internal carotid artery will not have any branch in the neck region. It goes directly into the brain to supply the brain. It pierces or it passes through the foramen in the skull. Whereas external carotid artery, it supplies the external aspect. It gives a lot of branches. So common carotid artery dividing into external and internal carotid artery. We are talking about external carotid artery. They supply most structures external to the cranium. There is deep distribution as well. Some of the branches go to the deeper aspect, like middle meningeal artery is an example, where it passes through the foramen in the skull and reaches the inner aspect of the skull. But majority of the branches are going to supply on the outer aspect. Each external carotid artery terminates by dividing into two branches, maxillary artery and superficial temporal artery. So the external carotid artery, at the end it divides into two branches which are called as terminal branches, maxillary artery and superficial temporal artery. Let's see the branches of the external carotid artery. So we have seen the last branches, maxillary artery and superficial temporal artery. Common carotid artery dividing into external and internal carotid arteries. Let's see other branches of external carotid arteries. Ascending pharyngeal artery. Ascending pharyngeal artery is a very small branch, arises as the first or second branch of the external carotid artery, and it's only medial branch. So it is arising from the medial aspect of the external carotid artery. Superior thyroid artery. In superior thyroid artery is here, superior thyroid artery. It is arising just below the level of greater cornua of hyoid bone. So it is related to the greater cornua of the hyoid bone. So just below that it is originating. So hyoid bone is a bone which is seen in the root of the neck. So just below the greater cornua of the hyoid bone, the artery arises. In superior thyroid artery, it is meant to supply the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is located here. Lingual artery. Lingual artery, as the name suggests, it is going to supply the tongue. So it arises in this area, lingual artery, supplying the tongue region. It is just opposite to the tip of greater cornua of hyoid bone. So it is just opposite to the tip of greater cornua of hyoid bone. So we are seeing the level where it arises, where the different arteries arises. The next artery is facial artery, above the tip of greater cornua of hyoid bone. So above the tip of greater cornua, there is another artery, that is facial artery. Facial artery is here. So there are three arteries: superior thyroid artery, which is originating below the greater cornua of the hyoid bone; lingual artery at the level of greater cornua of the hyoid bone; much above that, or much above the level of greater cornua of the hyoid bone, facial artery originates. Facial artery is meant to supply the face. Now all these arteries which we mentioned here, superior thyroid, lingual, facial, all are arising from the anterior aspect of external carotid artery. Whereas this artery, occipital artery, which is arising from the posterior aspect of external carotid artery. So let's find out the occipital artery. Occipital artery is here, arising from the posterior aspect of external carotid artery, superior to the origin of facial artery. So it is originating little above the level of the origin of facial artery. So facial artery is here, little above that. Posterior auricular artery, this is also arising from the posterior aspect of the external carotid artery. Posterior auricular artery, it is arising above posterior belly of digastric muscle. Digastric muscle is a muscle which is present in this area, digastric muscle, which has got two bellies, anterior belly and posterior belly. Posterior belly is cut here. So it is arising just above that level of digastric muscle, and as the name suggests, it goes to the posterior aspect of the auricle and supply some area of the scalp. Superficial temporal artery, it is one of the terminal branch of the external carotid artery, and other terminal branches, maxillary artery, that goes to the deeper aspect. Superficial temporal artery, pulsations can be felt just in front of the tragus. Maxillary artery is quite large branch. Superficial temporal artery, maxillary artery, this is external carotid artery. Again, external carotid artery dividing into superficial temporal artery and maxillary artery. The first part, from its origin to lateral pterygoid muscle. So maxillary artery here is been divided into three parts. First part, second part, third part. So first part is from the origin to the lateral pterygoid muscle. So this muscle here is a lateral pterygoid muscle. Lateral pterygoid muscle can be seen. So from the origin up to the lateral pterygoid muscle, it is the first part. Second part lies on lateral pterygoid muscle. Second part is on the lateral pterygoid muscle. It can have two possibilities. One, it can go superficial to it. Other possibilities, it can go deep to the lateral pterygoid muscle. One more possibility is that it can go between the lateral pterygoid muscle, because lateral pterygoid muscle has got two heads. So in between that also it can pass. The third part, that lies or that passes between the two heads. Yeah, that's what. The third part that can go between the two heads of lateral pterygoid and passes through pterygomaxillary fissure to enter pterygopalatine fossa. So third part can pass through the heads of lateral pterygoid muscle and it can reach the pterygomaxillary fissure and it will enter the pterygopalatine fossa. Now what are the branches of the maxillary artery? So here the branches are been divided into like we will be considering the first part, second part and third part. The first part gives some branches. They are deep auricular artery. Deep auricular artery. So first part is somewhere this area. So it is represented as a green color. So first part gives deep auricular artery, anterior tympanic artery, anterior tympanic artery here, anterior tympanic artery, middle meningeal artery, middle meningeal artery, accessory meningeal artery, accessory meningeal artery, small branch, inferior alveolar artery, inferior alveolar artery. So these are the branches of first part. Second part, all are muscular branches. It supplies the muscles. Second part is this area. Masseteric branches supplying the masseter muscle. Deep temporal branches supplying the temporalis muscle. Pterygoid branches supplying the pterygoid muscles, lateral pterygoid and medial pterygoid. Buccal branch supplying the different muscles in that area, supplying the buccinator as well. Buccal branch. Third part, it's very deep, which has some branches like posterior superior alveolar artery, infraorbital artery, greater palatine artery, greater palatine artery, Greater palatine artery is not shown here. Pharyngeal artery, pharyngeal artery, artery to pterygoid canal, sphenopalatine artery. So these are the different branches. Now this is the branches of. So we are finished with head and neck region. Now what we are going to see is the abdomen, the abdominal aorta, some branches of abdominal aorta. So the anterior branches of abdominal aorta are discussed here, just for a revision because this is already done before. So the anterior branches of abdominal aorta are celiac artery, superior mesenteric artery, inferior mesenteric artery. Celiac artery giving rise to left gastric artery, splenic artery, hepatic artery. Splenic artery gives other branches, short gastric arteries, splenic arteries, left gastroepiploic artery. Hepatic artery gives rise to cystic artery, right gastric artery, gastroduodenal artery, right hepatic artery, left hepatic artery. Gastroduodenal artery will give rise to right gastroepiploic artery, superior pancreaticoduodenal artery. Coming to the superior mesenteric artery, giving rise to jejunal ileal branches, inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery, middle colic artery, right colic artery, ileocolic artery. Ileocolic artery gives rise to anterior cecal artery, posterior cecal artery, ileal artery, colic artery. Posterior cecal artery gives rise to appendicular artery, which supplies the appendix. The last branch here, inferior mesenteric artery, giving rise to left colic artery, sigmoid arteries. It can be 2 or 3 superior rectal arteries. So this class is already taken. If you want to see, you can see that video. So the branch here is celiac trunk, dividing into common hepatic artery, left gastric artery and splenic artery can be seen, and this is stomach. So it is going to supply this area, and celiac trunk is a branch of, or it is a artery to supply the foregut. So the structures which are derived from the foregut will be supplied by the celiac trunk. Superior mesenteric can be seen, giving rise to different arteries like jejunal arteries, ileocolic artery, right colic artery, middle colic artery. Superior mesenteric artery is the artery of the midgut. And the last one here is inferior mesenteric artery arising from the abdominal aorta, giving rise to different branches like left colic artery, sigmoid arteries, and so on. And this is the artery of the hindgut.